maybe Daniel.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you talk about value, just to clarify, Nat, are you talking about monetary value creation, or are you talking about the shared values of the people living together?
No, more like how the token is valued and how what do I receive if I'm part of the co-living
Yeah,
DAO when I exchange my fiat into your token?
absolutely. So first of all, the mechanism we're creating is token is a way to reward people's contribution, paying rent being one contribution as well. So people that live in a, let's say, an existing co-living space or a new one, they can earn simply as they pay rent. So imagine earning just by paying rent. That's pretty much what mortgage, well, homeowners do by mortgage payments, right? So they pay mortgage, great, they pay the mortgage payment, and they get value, they get paid in equity. So the first mechanism we're creating is by paying rent, they can already receive token. Now, that's not the only way to receive token. There are a lot of ways to add value to a community. Why would someone go live in a co-living and not just get a studio flat or a hotel or something else? Number one reason is usually community. So what this means is that by being a great community member, every individual is really adding a lot of value to the project, adding value to the space, and the token is a way to reward that. So not only limiting that to paying rent, why can a community member arrange a workshop? Maybe they have a skill. Maybe they are a yoga instructor. Maybe they have some art background. Maybe they're business coaches. Maybe there's something else. So they might have a skill that other people can value. Therefore, they can propose to share their skill, and if the rest of the community votes for that proposal, so to speak, let's say they want the workshop to happen, the host of the workshop can be rewarded for that. But wait a sec, people that attend the workshop, they might also get a reward, right? Because by going to the workshop, they're also providing value. So the first part of this is really creating these reward mechanisms where people receive the token. On the other hand, the owner or the operators of the co-living spaces can commit to make sure that people can redeem the token for some services or simply get benefits and better status in the community by demonstrating that they hold a certain amount of token. And this can give the token a market value, which means there might be people that at some point they want to buy the token simply to bet on the future, either of one community or maybe a network of communities, and believing that that token will be more and more desirable because there's more and more things that people can do. Imagine getting better pricing, better access, some special events that only token holders can attend, and pretty much you name it. And any benefit a co-living operator can provide that can be somehow linked to the token as well, and it can be done cross communities as well. So that's how we see how people can really get together regardless of where they are geographically and be part of something bigger.
And just to add to that, Natalia, so the way the reward mechanism works is that people will get it for free. Effectively, they don't need to buy it with fiat. However, we could also add an option in there where there's a liquidity pool and people could buy token as well. It's a possibility. It needs to be engineered in the right way and to make sure that there are safeguards in place and all the rest of it. But that's a possibility as well. But it's more about being rewarded for what you're already doing and then getting value for that and extra value.
So, as a renter, that the detail that you might not decide on yet, I don't know, but I'm curious. As a renter, can I buy your tokens first, hold them, and then use these facilities for certain periods of times? Can I use you guys as a bank, basically?
Yeah, that's a great potential feature. Again, one of the reasons we are really opening the doors for this pop-up co-living in Malta that we're doing is to get input just like this. We love to hear from each and every one of you that is watching this or listening to this right now. We'd love to hear what you think can be valuable in that type of arrangement, and make sure that we take that into account. We have already done a lot of groundwork. We have very specific ideas on how things are going to look like, but we don't believe we should do this without really leveraging the power of collective knowledge. So this is why we are very much looking forward to having a few of you in the pop-up co-living, because that's how we'll do that. And we'll be also showing you what we've done so far. We'll be showing you how to create a token, how to create a DAO, a lot of things that maybe some of you have been thinking about, but don't know exactly yet how to do. There's definitely a lot of opportunities to learn that in the co-living space. So yeah, Nat, that's a great point. We are very happy to build feature where people really feel empowered and people really feel, yes, I can use this to solve a real problem that I have right now, and this makes my life better. And in doing so, it's also adding more value to the people around me.
People who are attracted to co-living DAO these days, can you describe the profiles of the people that you interviewed for your podcast, for example?
Yeah, I'm happy to jump in there. So we've got some interesting crossover crowds. So we have the Web3 DAO sort of techies. We've got people that are interested in new ways of living. So that goes all the way into deep environmentalists and regen or regenerative people that are looking for new ways to change the system and enable, people to live locally off the land, less dependence on standard industrialized systems, all that kind of stuff. And then you've got people that are really interested in community decision making and how you can simply build communities where everyone gets a voice and everyone gets a say. So there's a bit of a crossover between progressive co-living operators, Web3 people, regen people, environmentalists into sustainability, and some from the more political side that are looking for new ways of organizing at like a really profound paradigm shifting level. That's the crowds that are coming together.
Super exciting. Why Shark Tank Malta? Can you share a little bit of insights of how this marketing can really push you forward? Did it? What kind of interest and the kind of context reached out to you after this?
Should I answer this?
Yes, Daniel.
Honestly,
Like,
they asked me, hey, we need international guys who tell a nice story. Okay, let's do it. Like Malta, everyone knows each other. So it was just added bonus just to get going. Yeah.
And we can talk to that experience. Actually, that was a lot of fun because we did that like at the last minute, right? There was like a week and a half to prepare. We had to pitch to the producers. It was quite an adventure. And although we didn't get investment, we're super early stage at that point. What was really interesting is that the footage of the show did help us to make good connections, because one of Malta's biggest property investors, owners, he's from a traditional property sector sphere, right? He wasn't even thinking about Web3 or any of these crazy concepts. And he really backed us in the show. He even defended us against some of the other sharks who were attempting to say that it wouldn't work in Malta. Parts of that were edited out, by the way, because it wasn't the right dynamic. But he really defended us, and he saw the power of the idea. And he said, this is amazing, guys. It's just too early for me right now. And so that really helped us to leverage what was the early stage concept at that point. And it was so much fun. It was a lot of fun to do it. Daniel?
Yeah. And what Daniel said as well, the amount of money was a thing. I think that they only told us the rules in the morning, right? There were some constraints around the amount of money we asked for and the equity and different things. So we did have to pretty much change the numbers on the same day. But I remember, yes, they did tell us like the maximum investment we've ever seen was, I think it was like 100K or something like that. And we did ask for significantly more than that. So we knew that the ticket size could be a bit of a barrier, which ended up obviously being a factor. But at the same time, it was very early stage. And one of the main things about being so early stage is that we were not in a situation where we knew if the token would have a limited supply or unlimited supply, which kind of forced us to offer non-dilutive equity, which is something that traditional investors are really not familiar with. So that was pretty much one of the main topics of discussion in there as well, because getting a non-dilutive percentage in a company is just a completely different math and calculation versus getting shares. And the percentage might seem a lot higher in the beginning, but then when they get diluted, they end up owning a lot less. So if we were to create non-dilutive token, we would have run into problems later, which is why we decided to pitch in a certain way. But overall, it was really fun experience. We did learn to see, just simply by being there and seeing how people assess certain opportunities. And yes, despite no investors in that particular room having any experience with Web3, it was very interesting to see very opposite reactions. Some people not getting it, some people being very interested in it. So yeah, that was fun.
Mm, DAO, not DAO, did you consider, changing the way that you position your company over the past 3 years or so? Was there any discussion about the DAO structures and how that worked out for you so far? Any insights?
Yeah, so the reason we have DAO in the name is because we reflect principles of sharing. When we talk about sharing and sharing value, we think that the best way to arrange a value share mechanism comes with shared decision making as well. Now, we know that DAOs already have a certain image, and different people have different feelings around DAOs. We do have actually two episodes in our podcast around DAOs, and one is first we explain what a DAO is, but in the second one, which is very in-depth episode, we discuss why DAOs fail and how to change that, how to fix that. So for everyone who wants to hear more about DAOs, I definitely recommend checking out that podcast, why DAOs fail and how to fix that. And the main thing about DAOs is that it can be very flexible. So a lot of DAOs run into trouble because the shared decision making was really just based on financial. So people can just buy loads of token, get more decision making power, and get control. And it's not really a DAO anymore because it creates this unfair balance of power. So the way we're structuring things is making sure that people have a voice. Regardless or not only based on the financial contribution. We do value financial contributions. We do value non-financial contributions as well. So we make sure that we don't create a dynamic where someone can really exploit the system. So in terms of whether or not this should be a DAO, we believe that it's very important to have a certain level of control and leadership to really get the project off the ground. I've seen a lot of DAOs never being able to get anywhere because they were too decentralized too soon, so to speak. So the way we design it is we do have a little bit more influence in the beginning, and then gradually through a predictable mechanism, the decision making is going to become more and more decentralized. And for that to happen, we definitely welcome more and more people to get involved, to be part of it, especially people that resonate with the values and the principles and the mission and vision that we have, so that gradually we can decentralize the decision making more and more.
I can add a little bit to that as well. Daniel described it really well in detail. But in a simple sense, if someone's coming in from like, okay, what's the basic reason? We're using blockchain to reward co-living residents and to give them a voice because it's just the most efficient, fastest, best way to do it. So if you're using crypto or tokens, then it's decentralized money, right, or decentralized decision making. We then need a decentralized company structure like a co-op to mirror that. And then you need a decentralized decision-making structure to make sure that it's also mirroring the legal and the money. So you got the power, the wealth, and the legal infrastructure are all decentralized and aligned so that you get a balance of power. Because if you don't have a balance of power, you're going to run into problems in this, in what we want to achieve and where we want to go. There can't be like the tyranny of the majority or the tyranny of the minority in any of the systems or any sort of central point of failure. So it's just about aligning the money, the decisions, and the legal infrastructure. That's why we're using a DAO.
Cool.
I mean, just one input. I already mentioned it at the beginning. We just need to look at what is working since a few decades. I'm sure not only in Germany we have those housing cooperatives working for hundreds of thousands of residents. I'm also sure you have this in the UK and somewhere else. And this is kind of like a DAO, you know? Um, but like in the old world. So I would really like to take a look at this. And then this is just like an input I have, is you talked about this token reward. Like when people pay rent, they get a token. But this is not the token you talked about what you offered to the investors, right? Those are two different tokens. Or am I mistaken? Yeah.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. So, and the one which is about social interaction is pretty close to what I always repeat endlessly, crypto 2.0, which cannot be framed as a monetary asset. I think if you would crack that nut, that this could never be framed as money because it cannot be put on an exchange. I don't have all of the answers, but then I think we would be a step further. And then, of course, also having a token linked to real estate, which traditionally has less volatility. And I think in the next years, there will be a few events where we see a lot of volatility, not only in the crypto market, but also in our old monetary system. And then people will like to flee, like to invest in real estate. But who nowadays can just buy a house? You know, most of us, they have a phone, they would like to invest in real estate. Why not in the co-living DAO, where once the chaos is over, they can recover their money invested? That's what I think. So the tokens are both hot. And I'm thrilled to take part in that workshop, because crypto 2.0 will happen, but we don't know how it looks like yet.
Yeah, you're on the money, Dango. As always, these are exactly the areas that we're hyper focused on, and we're taking inspiration from the co-op world because there's like two centuries of experience there, which is effectively like a non-digital DAO, is exactly what as you described, right? So in the structure that we are taking inspiration from, it's called a Fair Shares Commons. It's one of the most advanced co-op structures that's available today. And it's taken in some of these newer elements that are suitable for today's world and the digital world to get a balance of power. So we're taking inspiration from that. So we're borrowing from 2 centuries of co-op experience. And we're also in the fully powered vision of co-living DAO in the future. There will be separate tokens for the wealth component and the governance component. That's in the future. That's further down the line. But I mean, the best way for people that want to get involved in this and see the mechanisms that we're creating and designing is to come and join us in the pop-up in Malta. You'll be able to get deep into the details, and you'll be able to contribute as well to the upcoming token design. And so it's a chance to get in really early at the beginning and be involved in something that's going to be quite exciting. There's a lot of details. There's a lot of stuff to explore. And the best way to do it is just to come and join and get involved.
And in terms of the digital communications that you keep up with your DAO members, audience, network, community, what are the kind of technologies of choice for you? Is Discord still a thing? And what's after Malta pop-up? How can I join if I can't go to Malta?
Yeah, great. So we have been using Telegram primarily at this point. We have a Telegram community. We also welcome everyone to join our open Telegram community, which people can do simply from our website, just to stay in the loop. It is possible that as we grow and as decision making becomes more decentralized, it's possible that we'll introduce either Discord or some other elements in there. We are going on chain at some point as well. So once we're on chain, there's the bespoke platforms that can be utilized for that too. So definitely an exciting moment, because joining now means joining the discussion early, joining potentially joining the crowd early. And again, we love this real life element as well. So yes, people that cannot join Malta, there's plenty of ways to stay in the loop. We will have opportunities to touch base. Of course, everyone wants to be early, and it makes sense to be early. So for anyone who is in a position to come to Malta, you definitely want to come to Malta. There's no point in waiting. But for people that absolutely cannot join, I suggest joining our Telegram community for now, staying in the loop, check out our podcast, and stay tuned, because whether it's through additional pop-up clinics, we don't know. We might do another one. We might not. We will decide and announce that after the first one, or whether it's through partnerships with existing co-living spaces and operators. You'll definitely be hearing more and more about us. So there's nothing better than being early. But yes, absolutely. Join our Telegram community, stay in the loop, ask us questions, and check out the podcast and our social media, where we publish many snippets. We publish many educational videos on YouTube as well. We talk about the future of money. Gareth made a video on how to have a successful society in Mars, on Mars, and how this relates to what's happening here on planet Earth. So definitely something everyone wants to check out. We spoke about what we can learn from history. We speak about what happens in the Roman Empire, lessons we can learn, and how to do things differently now. And we speak about a lot of interesting things, which all relate to the underlying core principle, which is really let's share value, let's create a society where people can really get a fair share of wealth and power in a way where truly everyone benefits. So absolutely, just get in touch.
Cool. Okay, we have 10 more minutes. Daniel, Janina, any more questions, directions we want to uncover?
I don't know, Janina, if you want to talk about, because it's now a little bit long time ago, but I know you were also thinking about having embassies, physical outlets. Do you have anything to share? What would have been your approach? Do you want to just to buy it?
I'm not sure who you mean with the we. Like what physical embassies outlets? I just see that people like to, like they're interested in having the physical location first. So 10 years ago, it was all just like online communities, and then not caring really about anything in the physical world that can free people from where they are. So now all these charter cities, things like that, is interested in first getting the place right, build it and they will come, instead of just focusing on online communities, which of course is way more reasonable to first have the physical place, because everyone has all the things online only. Like just having a social media group and slamming the name network space on it, whereas it has no difference really with any normal social media group. It's silly. So I like how today people focus on the physical location, uh, focusing on the real estate and either some existing or getting a license for building something new. So that's actually one of the things that I'm doing now. So I'm actually having the contacts to build something in Tanzania, but the problem is all the people working in this field don't have funding. So I'm now looking for someone who's well funded, who would be interested to build something there, because the government permits will be there, but just someone has to have some funding first. So
Yeah, it's definitely very important to make sure that there is a real life component. I know a lot of people at some point, after all this money and effort and energy and attention has flown into online only spaces, there's been a bit of a movement to go back to real life. So it's not by chance that we are in the RWA space, the real world assets. So anything in real estate tokenization makes sense to us, because yes, we are talking about tokenizing something tangible with a clear utility, which is people can live in a space, and we are talking about in-person DAOs as well, or IRL DAOs. So we love how to connect and use technology in order to make actual life better, not just as an escape from reality, not just to create some sort of like second life outside of the first life, but we want to use these tools to really make our real life better and everyone's real life better. And that's why we are so excited about working on projects in this space.
Yeah, bring back IRL. I can share in the minutes we've got left if it's useful, Natalia and Dango, to share just some basics on the pop-up. I can screen share it if it's helpful. Yeah, cool. Okay, should be able to see my screen. Hopefully this works. Yeah, so we're doing the Co-Living DAO pop-up token creation experience, and we now have an option for people to join us for 4 days. Because sometimes it's difficult to get the full 8 days clear to come and take part in something. So there is a 4-day ticket for a long weekend, and it starts on Saturday, the 15th of March. So you go all the way through to the 23rd if you want to join us for the full 8 days, or through to the 19th if you want to come for 4 days. We do also have an offer on right now, so you can get €100 off the prices you see here. With the voucher, what's the voucher again? 100 now, 100 NOW, all caps. For anyone that wants to join us and take advantage of a discount as well. And yeah, so it's going to be in a great little villa in Gozo Island. We're going to go and explore. Dan Ghost kindly going to support us to go and have a visit to the Knights of Malta as well, to take inspiration from a millennial old, I guess it's like an ancient DAO. And there's some local sites that we can go and see, some UNESCO heritage site temples in Gozo Island, for anyone that's not familiar with Malta. Cool place to visit. I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, we're going to have fun and we're going to build something really cool in the process.
And we get some sun. So I just welcomed some guests here. And the first thing they did was apply sun cream, like protection, so we can get vitamin D. And another fun fact is, because you spoke about that, we're going to visit one of the most powerful decentralized entities in the world, the Maltese Knights. Funny, last week I actually met a knight here in my living room, and I looked her into the eyes and I said, we are working on something similar. We also want to become Knights 2.0 for the next 1,000 years, just me. And she looks into my eyes and says, yes, we also want, and we also realized that the necessity is there. So this was really powerful and empowering for me. So yeah.
That's super cool.
But it's just a side story. So yeah, for everyone watching this video, sorry about a little bit of a sales pitch. Still, the prices are fair. Malta is nice. We need to get to know each other. We need to live together. This is anyway already happening in the background, in our loose collective of people. People really meet each other. So maybe in the end, this will be the network state genesis of all of the crazy guys who want to start a network